Welcome to Data Sports. These are my round 18 tips and predictions. If you've been here before, you can see that the videos have a new design and layout. And if you're new here, I hope you enjoy. Make sure you do like and subscribe as well. Getting really close to 300 subscribers now, which is pretty exciting. Give the socials a follow. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, all the different ones. Also, let me know in the comments who you're tipping this week and what your predictions are for the round. Before I jump into the tips and predictions, quick little recap of last week's games. So last week it was an absolute shocker. Round 17, it was never my friend. Started off pretty rough with Queensland getting put to the sword by the Blues. I'll let you know very soon what I think of that and what changes Queensland can make. Questioning why I don't back the Doggies every single week. They beat the Sharks 15-14. I'm lost for words as well with my Broncos losing to the Warriors 32-16. That was painful watch. Knights, they beat the Eels 34-26, finally get me on the board for the week. Confirms Bradman Best is better than Lego. Storm, they beat the Milk, what was it, 16-6? Look, win's a win. Wasn't the most exciting contest, but they got it done. Shattered that the Dragons beat the Finns 26-6. I cannot pick a Dragons game to save my life this season. Penrith B-side goes down to the Cows 16-6. And lastly, the Chooks pump the Tigers 40-6, ending the round with a green tick. A rough 3 correct tips in that one. So new round, new me. It surely cannot get much worse than that. Now, as for Queensland, coming into game 3, I've seen a lot of chat about what changes can be made here, and here is my unasked 2 cents when it comes to that. So firstly, glad that Billy confirmed that we are in fact Queenslanders. We got that out of the way. We lost Xavier Coates over the weekend. Sadly, he won't be available. It has to be a straight swap for Cobbo at this point. He was great in game 1. I think he can take up that centre position, and maybe Val could go out to the wing. I love seeing him go toe-to-toe with Critter in game 1 as well. He handled that no worries, and Critter is kind of the best of the best. I think he could do a job against Latrell. Each season, he's just getting better and better, and I think he's getting a lot more confident in his size and strength as well. He's starting to just run over people. Latrell is a big boy, and I don't think he's going to get pushed around going up against him. As far as for other changes, I think it's really time to break the glass and bring Fafita in. He's just too destructive coming off the bench. Easy swap for somebody like Capewell, who, yeah, he brings his own qualities, but it's just, I don't think what we need coming into game 3. Game 1, I was like, yep, fair enough. Billy didn't want to pick him. It was a massive surprise not seeing him in the team for game 2. It all could just be head games from Billy leaving it to game 3 to unleash him. You never know. Another change, I would think bringing Gagai into the side actually would be a good pick over, say, Kafusi. He can fill that kind of Cobbo role in game 1 if something goes wrong with the backs or, something goes wrong in the second row. He can kind of just slot in and fill that role. With the intensity of Origin, particularly like a decider at Suncorp, I think you're going to need an option if something does go wrong. The amount of injuries, HIAs, anything like that, particular to the back line. You really want somebody that can fill those spots. Lastly, before my tipping, I was looking over the top 8, and I'm honestly worried that Penrith are going to come home strong and snag it for the 4th time in a row. Now, why am I worried? It's because of Nathan's mid-season service that hints at this run for the finals. History tells us when he's had his little mid-season service, they win the comp. If you look back at 2020, he didn't have a little break there, and they go on and lose to the Storm. 2021, bang, shoulder goes. He comes back at the end of the season and wins the comps against the Rabbits. Mind you, 2022 wasn't from injury, but he decided to spear a bloke into the ground just so he could get himself a break, and they go on and win 2022 against the Eels. 2023, it's a painful one for me to talk about, but he does a hammy, slides back into the team, and has one of the greatest grand final performances and comebacks of all time to steal against the Broncos. Now, I'm glad that they're not playing him this weekend against the Broncos, but he won't be far away, and the comp really should be worried about him. Not to mention as well, you got guys like James Fisher-Harris leaving, you got Luai, they've got all the motivation in the world to get it done. Alrighty, now moving on to the tips for round 18, I'm going to let some rogue ones fly as well because a few teams have gone onto the ban list and I don't care who they're playing or where they're at. Thursday, we got Eels versus the Rabbits. Rabbits, they are $1.67 favourites currently at the time of recording. Again, didn't see a team snagging the worst position from the Rabbits this season, but here we are. I'm going with the Rabbits 1 to 12, like I was saying. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken as well, I think that they're kind of not come back, but their winning record started against the Eels, and I'd love to see them repeat that again. Things are going all kinds of right for the Rabbits at the moment. They've strung together 4 wins, while the Eels, they're hanging out at the bottom of the table with the Tigers. Does worry me a little bit. The losing streak, it just can't keep up forever. And the Eels, we'll see what they got. But the combos that the Rabbits have gone at the moment, it's doing them a world of good. Since the new coach, Jackie Whiten, in the halves, and New South Wales form Latrell, they're actually just rolling teams. Eels, They had a close one last week with the Knights, and Mitchy Moses, he's in all-time form, but I can see it being a close one coming right down to the wire. Next, we've got Sharks versus Titans. This is where the rogue picks begin, honestly. The Sharks, they've let me down that many times. I'm going to go with the Titans 1-12 over the Sharks. Sure, Sharks have beat them in the last 2 games they've played, but Titans, they've won more in their last 5 games, and Sharks really have it in them to lose to a team that's coming 15th. They are $3.10 dogs at the moment, but the way Sharks have been going, it probably is becoming a bit more of a must win. Some of the Titans players, they have been on fire. I'm keen to see AJ Brimson back in the side. While they do lose Jaden Campbell, AJ sparked some life in the Titans a while back, and I can see him adding a massive performance in this game. Keeney, he's been awesome at the back as well, and Fafita is surely going to be putting in a massive shift to lock down a spot in that Queensland team for Game 3. It's either going to be a genius pick or play out really badly for me, but if the Sharks take the L here, I'm all here for it. Broncos versus Penrith for the second game on a Friday. Broncos, they just have to win it. They desperately need to bounce back. I cannot handle them losing 5 in a row. They're also well due for some revenge for that grand final loss last year, so I'm going my boys 1-12. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm well aware it is a steep task if we're playing anything like we have in the last month. It's not been an easy watch at all with the amount of errors and penalties. I'm left scratching my head, honestly, of what's kind of going on this season, but we get our Origin players back, which is an enormous boost. As always, I think we've got the team that can hang with Penrith across the park, but they cannot be having an off night against them, particularly making a mountain of errors or giving away field position, because they will just punish you big time for it. I like that it is at Suncorp, might give them the advantage they need to get it done, but it's going to be a tough one, but up the Bronx. Doggies versus Warriors up first on Saturday. I have a tendency to go with the Doggies and then flip back to them go against them, flip back to them, and they end up losing. But I have full confidence that they're going to get it done. I'm going 1-12 over the Warriors. Warriors, they did look like a very different team in a positive way without Sean Johnson. It's just a very different style. But damn, Doggies with their defense, I think they can get it done. While they're still looking for that all-out attack to put the points on, their defense is, I think, either the best or second best at the moment in the comp, and that says something. I like that they're getting Connor Tracy back. He's a weapon. Yeah, they are just going well this season. If Burton plays anything like he did last week, he could kick the Warriors out of the game, no worries. They have had pretty close games in the last 2 times that they've played, so I can see it probably going a lot of the same way. Tigers versus Storm. I'm taking Storm 13 plus. They are $1.24 favourites for a reason. Pappy is back, which is excellent. Hopefully he can stay injury free and see out the rest of the season. Storm have won comfortably in the last 2 times they've played Tigers. The only thing that does worry me a little bit is the backline of the Storm. They are a pretty young bunch, but yeah, Storm's pretty plug and play at the same time. So Storm, they need to put it on them and not perform like they did last week. If they fall asleep, the Tigers could very well go ahead and upset them. If all goes to plan, though, Storm should win and win well. Outside of last week, they've been putting some pretty decent scores on teams, and Tigers, they've fallen back to the bottom of the ladder. Cows versus Manly. Taking Cows 1-12, but I'm not overly confident about it. They do get a ton of Origin players back, which is great. They have also beaten Manly in the last 2 times they've played, but I did see some stats saying that they haven't beaten them up north in some time, so that's a little bit concerning, but see how it goes. I just feel like you don't really know what type of performance you're going to get from either of these teams. Massive in for Manly is Tommy Turbo coming back from injury in the centres. If we see Tommy from Origins past in centres, he could be destructive. Maybe good not having the worry of playing fullback as well. And yeah, we'll see if he's really at 100% fitness. How's defense? It is questionable at the best of times, though, and Manly have a lot of players that could really break the game wide open as well. So we'll see what we get, but surely the Cows can win back home. Roosters versus Dragons. I'm going Roosters 13 plus. They ended the Dragons season earlier this year, and I think they have it in them to do it again. They've been going around pretty much just bullying teams at this point and absolutely pumping them. While Dragons, they have somehow made their way into the 8. I don't think they're consistent enough at all to beat a Fire and Roosters. The way things are going, I could see Roosters making a really good run for the finals this year. Keep that machine Angus Crichton running, and he might just carry them all to the grand final himself. Dragons, they do have a forward pack that can match the size of the Roosters and the intensity, but I just don't think they're going to be able to keep it up for the whole day, the whole game. No doubt as well, they'll be out for revenge after getting absolutely flogged last game, but I just don't think they can do much about it. Now, last we got Big Milk versus Knights. I'm going to take the Knights 1-12. Was a joy seeing them get it done against the Eels last week. Hoping they can make it 2 in a row. Generally, it's been close games between these two. So So yeah, we'll see what happens. Knights, huge in though with Kalen Ponga coming back. I'd love to see him linking up with Will Price. That would be super dangerous and exciting. Be nice as well if Price can start linking up with Kai Pearce-Paul as well. Raiders, they will be desperate to get back in the winning column after a few rough weeks. Sticky, he might not be able to take too much more of it before he implodes. Now, one of my tips for the week, I'm going to pick 3 anytime try scorers. I'm bloody due to snag one of these as well. So I like Brimo. He's going to get straight back into it. Gussie Crichton, he's going to run over the top of somebody in the Dragons to cross, and Greg Marju to get a 4-pointer. Yeah, that's it for this week. Catch you next time and have a good one.